Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show with your host, Anthony Sain. Now, let's get to the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain, here with my guy, man, Kenny Stubblefield in the building. Kenny, what's going on, my brother?
My brother, you good, man?
Man, good, man. We're about to have a great show today. A lot of things going on in the NBA, man. We got more Grizzlies news, more Grizzlies rumblings going on, man. We had my guy Dawson on the other day. He talked about some of the things he's hearing about the home team. And we also have more rumblings going on in the social media world as well concerning your Memphis Grizzlies. But Kenny Stubblefield, before we get into that, I have two very special guests. One has been on before, one never has. Hopefully we can get this brother on again. NBA legend Craig Hodges is here with us today, as well as my good friend Kevin Whitted from the Kevin Whitted Basketball Services, and they're joining us now. Gentlemen, it is good to have y'all here on the show today. How y'all doing today, gentlemen?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Good. Got two amazing guys, two guys who fight for our youth and fight for the culture and for the cause in and on the basketball court here on the show today. Great to have you two guys on. You two are going to be opposing coaches tomorrow in an amazing event. My guy Liddell Beeman and Heal the Hood Foundation. You guys are part of his All-Star Celebrity Game. Only in Memphis will you see a charity basketball game where the mayors are going at it on the basketball court. They call us Hoop City, man. So those are the type of things you see here in Memphis. Like I said, you guys will be the opposing coaches on tomorrow's game. But you guys also have a past where you guys were G League coaches together on the same team. Tell us about how that happened and the bond that you two guys got during that experience in the G League.
Well, first thing, we're going to be together tomorrow.
We're coaching together.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
okay,
we're coaching against Lionel and Scotty Mason.
Grizzlies coach Lionel Hodges and Scotty Mason. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so they're keeping it
together now.
Right.
Yeah, we
bet.
do that. Yeah,
that's what's up. That's what's up.
But we were together. Obviously in New York with Westchester. It wasn't long, but it was still a special time for me at the same time because I got a chance to work with Craig and and that was our first meeting. Right. Right now this has been probably the greatest time for us because we got a chance to really get away from what we call the NBA grind to really get to know each other as men and really get to really find out the DNA of each other, from that standpoint, and just really learn more from each other. I'm learning from him all the time because he's really the OG. And anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, and the biggest thing for me was during that period of time was seeing the politics of sports and understanding it for what it was, and understanding that Kevin and I didn't kick it off the way it should have been. It was one of those things where we were both kind of thrust into an organization, and the organization itself was totally different, man. I had been with the Bulls and I had been with the Lakers, and when I was with the Bulls, it was, it was business, but when we got with the Lakers, it was more fun. And then when I'm thinking that, I'm coming to the storied New York Knicks organization, that this is going to be the ultimate of professionalism, and I got there and it was almost like it was a very static environment. It wasn't conducive to player growth or development. So, they put Kevin in a tough situation and myself as well, but all in all, we became a lot closer in the last month or two, just conversating about what went down.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I was just going to add. Yeah, being a young coach at the time, it was my first opportunity to be a head coach in the league. So I'm young. I'm coming in, and I'm in a sense, I'm very ahead of the game from a basketball standpoint of details, what necessary needs to happen for us to be successful. Because I've been on 4 other teams. But we also had a system in place that was already intact before my inception. Number one. Number two, I was a young kid when he was introduced to the same system that that made his career go to the next level, which is the triangle offense. So here I am as a head coach now trying to manage someone that knows more about the offense than obviously than me. And also this from a basketball standpoint, 1978, you came out of high school.
Exactly.
1978, I think I was in the 2nd grade, 3rd grade. So when he came into the NBA, I was in the 5th grade.
Right.
So think about that gap in terms of just information and knowing the game. So I mean, I was really in a peculiar position, but at the same time, you know, I still like that it happened to a certain because it made me grow up. It gave me a chance to see really how things are at that level.
Right.
So and that's the way it is. I mean, you're going to be in uncomfortable situations at times. You're going to live. You're going to grow. And then the beautiful part about it is we're sitting here today,
exactly,
and we have an opportunity to really look back on it and talk about the experiences we had, so we can do things better and continue to make the culture better of the game.
And seeing it for what it was. It wasn't a matter of,
right.
You know, it wasn't something that either one of us really wanted to do from the standpoint of wanted to go the way it did. It was just a matter of, you know, what was going on at that period of time, what type of pressures were coming, especially from Kevin's standpoint. You know, I wasn't getting the type of pressures that he was getting from two different offices, you know, whether it was the Knicks or whether it was the D-League management trying to tell him which way to go. And I think one of the wildest parts is when they told us that we didn't have to win, you know, and I was like, man, I've never been on a team where the manager comes in and says, hey, you don't have to win. And I told Kevin right there, man, you got the easiest job in America, bro.
Right.
But at the same time, understanding him for who he was, that he has that type of energy that he wants to get it done, but also he wants to be able to show by example what's really going on. And I think that was the part in New York where it was almost like, this is how we want you to do it. If it doesn't happen this way, then you guys aren't doing it in the way that needs to be done. So we're going to go get somebody else. And, you know, I understand the game for what it is, but New York was it was weird, man. That was probably the weirdest. And I say weird because I don't know any other way to put it, you know, because it was just different. It was nothing I'd ever experienced in basketball. And to think of, man, this is a storied franchise, and to see how it was run it wasn't cool, man.
Well, we were in the middle of constant change for the league. If you notice, about 2012, the advent of analytics were coming into play. That was the D'Antoni era. And then, you know, once they left, and then when Phil came in and they brought, you know, the family back, basically analytics had already went to a certain place far across the league. So everyone was adjusting to a different style of play, which we were still trying to use a system that we felt that was still effective in the modern day game that's being played today, that mostly everyone was not really feeling across the league or throughout the organization, where, you know, that creates it creates a divide. You know, we're united, but we're divided because we're still not, everyone's not fully on the same page and understanding that, you know, this right here has already won 11, how many championships? 6, 5, you know, that's 11 championships, you know, so it works. Everyone just needs to just sit back and let it work and
play your role. And I think that was one of the biggest parts in New York. You know, when they brought Phil in, with the idea that, you know, we can take Triangle from Chicago to LA, and now we can bring it to New York.
Right.
When Phil's affinity for New York and what he did winning championships there, he wanted to come and be successful in New York and thought he could be. But once again, Phil Jackson was successful not because of Tex Winter, but with the aid of Tex Winter. And without Tex, I venture to say we wouldn't have won the way we won. Likewise, Phil's resume wouldn't be what it is without Tex and the Triangle. So when he went to New York, it was a battle between the Triangle guys and the New York Knicks guys. The New York Knicks guys are, you know, Dolan and Allen, and it was a thing where it's almost West Coast, East Coast beef again. You know what I'm saying? But within the realm of where we were actually working, man. So it was tough not only for Kevin, but I'm looking at all the guys around it. You know, when I look at Stoudemire, when I look at Shumpert, when I look at JR, you know, we had some young brothers that could hoop.
Tim.
Yeah, but could hoop, but it was a static and ugly situation.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I don't know if y'all have seen with the Knicks coaching search that they've been getting rejected left and right with guys they've been trying to get permission to speak to. So they may be giving y'all a call soon, man.
Hey, man,
bring y'all back up.
And that's the thing is that when I look at it, I'm like, man, a lot of these coaches, and you know, it's to me, I look at it as recyclable. You know, we got a recyclable closet of coaches that we bring out, and nobody ever really changes anything. You're gonna go in there and you're gonna do the same thing that Tibbs did. Are you gonna go in with the system? Are you gonna go in there running the same screen and roll handoffs and or what are you gonna bring different that will bring a different mentality and culture to your team, man? And that's what needed. That's what's needed in a lot of places, man, to shake the whole thing up, come with something new, and getting rid of that old, recycled junk, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But guys, like I said, you guys will be coaching tomorrow in the Celebrity All-Star Game for Heal the Hood Foundation. The game is going to be tomorrow. In that game, in a game that's a fundraiser for a long-running youth organization like Heal the Hood, why are those type of things so important to you guys now? You guys could just ride off into the sunset and enjoy your past, enjoy your careers. Why are those type of things, working with young people and working with these type of organizations, why are those type of things still a passion of yours now?
For me, honestly, when I'm around the young folks, they always like, man, they think of me giving them so much from information and that type of thing. I'm drawing that energy, man. I'm drawing that energy to, from them, from the standpoint of knowing that when we give out life energy, you don't get it back. But at the same time, as you giving it out, if you open yourself up, you can receive a lot from these young folks. And as far as the energetics of it, to see the fact of, youth, and see how you, at that point in time, what you were thinking about when you were 7, 8 years old, and now you're standing here at 64 and you're looking back and say, man, I'm looking back and saying that was a wild journey, and how many times during that journey, you didn't know what was going to happen, man. And it was all about keeping your nose to the grindstone and working, and things happen organically for you and get a chance to, for me, I love the fact that I knew how many people mentored me. And I have at least that responsibility, man, to do the same.
And for myself,
go ahead.
I'm just going to add to that, if you look at the city, me living here for 12 years now, we've seen the city go up, down in certain aspects. Our community, we need unity, and we need to see the voices and the people that are heavily involved that can educate. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to provide a platform where we can educate, inspire, and give people direction and about making proper choices that's going to lead them in the right direction. Systematical change. That's what it's about. We have to create a system that works. You have people that experience like Craig, that's been around, that has a world of experience. We've all had our ups, our downs, our middles, and where we are today. So we have an opportunity now to really expound upon that and give people that information so they can be properly educated, especially in our industry that we're in from a basketball standpoint. But the life skills are what the most important things we're trying to share now, because that's what's going to carry on after the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Mr. Hodges, I was looking up your stats, sir, because I definitely remember you were one of my favorite Bulls players. Like, I was a big Bulls fan back then, So I remember, like, I knew you could shoot the leather off the ball. I knew that for sure, right? So I had to go in my 2025 mind and go check some stats, right? So I pulled some stats up, and I was talking to Kenny Stubblefield, our producer. I said, Kenny, have you seen Craig Hodges' like shooting stats when he was in the league? He was like, yeah, man, it's insane. So I'm just gonna go over some of the numbers. 1 year you shot 45% from three. 1 year you shot 49% from three. 1 year you shot 46%. You shot 54% from three one season. 41 another, 48 another. Absolutely crazy shooting stats. You shot 40% from three for your entire career. And back then, I'm not gonna say like the 3-point shot wasn't encouraged, but you weren't like a high volume shooter. Like, there weren't guys getting off 10, 12 three-point attempts in the game like there are now. I have the question for you. What would Craig Hodges be in today's NBA?
It would be
with the numbers you put up back then.
It would be fun, to be able to dribble and shoot. And like I tell people, a lot of people look at my shooting, hey, man, you're a shooting guard. I'm like, my first 4 years in the league, I was a point guard. So being able to dribble and shoot in today's economy of the game, it would have been fun to see what type of numbers you can put up more than anything else. The salaries and all of that goes along with it. And I think that's one of the differences between the eras, man. 80s and 90s, man, we played not only for the passion and love of it, but the money was almost secondary in some light, because it was all about seeing how where did you rank with everybody in the league, man? How good could you be? And for me, it was one of those things from the shooting end, thinking about where Larry Bird was in it, thinking of where Mark Price was, and understanding that it was a competition mentally from afar, that I would be in the gym shooting by myself, and I'd stop at probably 2.5 hours, and I was like, yeah, I know Larry is shooting some more, so I keep shooting. So it'd be a thing where, the competition of it, but also it would be fun to just see where I would fit in today's game, but also to take some of these guys and put them back in the 90s and see where they would fit. I often think about, Steve Nash. Would Steve Nash be the player that during that 80s run with a hand check? You know what I'm saying? And hands being put on you and being able to roll through the lane holding the pizza. You know what I'm saying? That you come through there a couple times and you had some guys that were, they weren't feeling that. They weren't feeling you coming in there like I can just walk through here. No. You're not just gonna skate through here. We're gonna put some leather on you to let you know that when you come in there, be prepared for the contact that goes along with it. So some of the physicality that we had to play under compared to now, it would be something to watch a Michael Jordan play in this situation where you can't really put hands on. I remember coming into the league and coming off a single double, and I'm looking at the referee because the brother's holding both of my arms, and the referee is looking at me like, you gonna let him hold you or you gonna get away? It wasn't a foul call. So it was a different level of play, but at the same time, the game is cyclical. It's going to go in cycles the way it goes, and you're born to play in the era that you're born to play in. So these guys are born to play in this era where a whole lot of money is being made, and I don't know if the skill level is better than we were, or is the athleticism a little bit better, but I don't think from a mental end, the amount of coaching and instruction that we had to take during the 80s and 90s was different than it is today.
Yeah, for sure. This is for both of you guys, Kevin and you especially. You have your organization, Kevin Whitted Basketball Services, phenomenal organization here in the city of Memphis. I've been out there a few times for some of the camps you've done out there. And Mr. Hodges, of course, you are an NBA vet legend, and I'm sure that you guys work with young people a lot, as we already stated. LeBron James made some comments last week saying that he believes that young people these days are getting individual skills training at too young of an age, and it's kind of taking the creativity away from the younger players, even the elite younger players, because they're not getting that either that one-on-one or that 5-on-5 run where they're not playing 21 anymore, where you have to figure out how to score 1-on-20, you know what I mean? or all these type of things that we had coming up as as younger kids, whatever. Do you agree with that sentiment, and where do you think the middle ground is, especially being guys who do work with young people as far as training is concerned?
You want me to take that? Oh yeah. Well, I think I agree with LeBron when it comes to kids spending too much time in training. I don't like the word training. We develop and then we work on certain aspects of the game in a setting where they can learn it. We playing 21 gave us opportunity to learn how to exist on our own. You had to be creative. You had to beat 1 and 2 to 3 defenders. You had to make tough shots. There was a lot of trash talking. It was a mental and physical game at the same time. So the training aspect, that evolved with time. And what happened, it became training. When I came along, it was called player development. It's still called player development, but a lot of people have now made it trending to call it training. So what's happened, a lot of people that haven't played professional basketball or played or coached at a highest level, they're touching kids and showing them things that really mentally and physically they're not really ready for. Right now, they just need to learn how to do a proper crossover. They need to actually just learn some footwork. Learn how to make a right hand, left hand layup properly. Can you pass the ball effectively with both hands? Can you defend? Do you understand defensive position? Right. Those are the things that have to be emphasized early, and that happens with a coaching staff or someone around that's in that arena that can effectively teach that. But it has been kind of glossed over, and we have to kind of get back to that. I don't know if you want to speak further.
Yeah, for me, it's like, okay, the advent of AAU basketball, man, and just the money that's driven. So now you have guys that we're not really working on fundamentals. We're working on winning games. The more games I win, the more gear I might get because we may get a deal with Nike. You know what I'm saying? So the whole training, the whole specialty of this thing, you know, we grew up playing at the park, man. You can't go someplace and have 10 children together where you can have a pickup game and just hoop. Or
just play.
Or just like you say, have 10 people where, okay, we get ready to play hustle. And that, hey, like you say, when we play 21, you got to play some D.
Yeah.
You got to rebound. Yeah. You got to get a steal. So you get the rudimentary parts of the game within it. But now so much is predicated on it blew my mind when I got with the Lakers. And these guys are coming out of the AAU stuff. Everybody had to have their guy. And and I was like, what do you mean? I got my guy. I got my guy carrying my bag. I got my guy that's my trainer. I got my guy to feed me. I got my guy to drive me. And I'm like, everything is so specialized now that nobody does anything for themselves. I'm watching people that you don't even carry your own gym bag anymore. So it's like, man, it has become such a commercial environment. So now when he talks about individual training, where we are now in basketball, that might be hey, if I don't have an individual trainer, am I going to make it? So that's the mentality now that it ain't like, man, everybody can afford this thing. You know, some of the guys, like he said, some of the people I'm watching train in Chicago, man, it's almost a joke if it wasn't the fact that you got children with you, that you get all of this stuff off of the internet, and I'm walking in the gym and I'm saying, wow, how much are these children paying you? And their parents ain't got it like that. But that's where the game is gone, man. It's gone commercial to the point where you're getting a commercial hit on every level. And the bottom line is, I was thinking today, who owns basketball? We stop and actually think about that. Who owns the game? And that it's a filter down process. So you got the league level, then you got the AAU level, and all of them kind of trying to filter up to that level. But hey, who owns the game and being able to say, this is how we're going to filter this thing down to y'all. We're going to have AAU. We're going to have this. We're going to have a certain amount of trainers. And now that filters into, hey, when we get to the league level, when we with the Knicks, analytics. Now this opens up a whole economic level for some other people to have jobs within the context of the league.
Yes.
And nothing to do with the actual game itself. You know what I'm saying? But you're making it, and you're creating an environment to be able to say, hey, analytics, 3 is better than, come on, man. Somebody got a straight line layup, but they're pulling up for 3 and they can't even shoot.
Go ahead.
I would say the last point I was going to make about, the development standpoint, like in our gym, you and I had a conversation a couple of years ago about positionless basketball. That's hurt the American game. It's coming back to bite us because the beauty of our games in the 80s, you saw pure point guards. Pure point. I mean, so when I talked about a point guard, I'm thinking about Mark Price, Tim Hardaway, Isaiah Thomas. It came to mind what a point guard looked like, a 2 guard, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper. At the 3, we're talking about Dominique Wilkins, Bernard King. These were 3s. These guys had the ability to handle. They could play from the mid post. They were sprinting the lanes. We had our 4s, Horace Grant. Now we can look at
Kenny Carr. And you stop, and that's the wild part when we talk about this positionless game. It's positionless, but who is it helping more? The Europeans are cold at it. You feel me? Jokic come over here, 7-foot point guard, whatever it is. Luka Doncic is bringing this thing when walking, and I'm like, man, this is where the game has gone to the point where we've lost it. This used to be our run. The game was our run. Look at the last 5 or 6 MVPs in this thing. And how many have come from outside of American shores, man? I'm telling young folks, when I was in high school, they told me it was 1 in 55,000 chance to be a professional athlete. Now with the advent of Europe, social media, man, it's got to be, you competing against at least 250,000, 300,000 people for one run. So what do you have that separates you from the pack? And that's the part where we used to be able to say,
everybody has specialties. You were a complete basketball player,
but you had something else
that stood out, that gave you opportunity, to give you a chance to play on certain teams.
And so much of that was developed in parks, in summer leagues, where you learned how to play against contact, how to play through physicality, how to be able to make an adjustment in the middle of a run, where now these things are almost put in place. Okay, this is what's going to happen. We're going to work on this situational thing. But you never piece it together to be able to say, okay, y'all go out there and play, because you don't have enough to play. You got 4 or 5 people that are training, but we never get an up and down experience of just learning how to play. Yeah. Just learn how to play.
And just going back experience we had, I remember I was coaching, and I remember I had a rule, we go up and down 4 times and we stop and we teach. Now that's good and it's bad. I didn't know that until later. Once I got away from everything, just kind of sat back and realized. I remember you said, "No, kid, like just come here. Hey, you like come here and say, hey, just let him go."
Me and him used to go at it, because he'd look at me as like, "Yeah, Hodge, I know. Let him play." Because man, let him run, man. We can try to. Sometimes we see it as coaches and as former players. We'd be like, "Man, what was he looking at when he did that? What was his mindset?" And then Kev would be like, "Hey man, what were you thinking about?" And I'll be like, "Man, let him play through it, and we'll see what he's thinking about on the next go round."
Yeah, give the players a chance to make mistakes. That's the thing. They have to mistake their way to perfection. And the thing is, today we've actually eliminated players from being in a position to make mistakes. And what happens by doing that, we kill the creativity. And so we have to be careful of that as we go forward. And that's what I learned, just being around him and, being around that old school mindset of just, look, let's stay out of the way. And sometimes, as coaches and players, we can get in the way, so you got to just stay out of the way.
And let it happen
For sure. Well, Mr. Hodges, I remember being a younger version of myself back in 1993. And I'm watching the NBA All-Star Weekend, and Craig Hodges wins the 3-point shootout. And the interesting thing about that particular year is that you were not on an NBA roster at the time.
I didn't win that year.
What year am I referring to then? I'm sorry. You competed that year. I'm sorry.
Yes, I competed.
You were in the 3-point contest, but you were not on the NBA.
I was too mad, man. If you look back, they gave me this red, white, and blue uniform to wear.
I remember.
And I was like, man, if you look at my face before that competition, I was so mad. I was sitting there, and when I look back at it, I started laughing when I seen it. I was like, man, Hodge, ain't no way you was gonna be able to shoot like that, man. You sitting there, I was more ready to fight. Everybody sitting next to me, like, man, y'all know they dogging me out, but it was one of those things where you go ahead and do it. But once again, the training going into the competition totally different. I'm working in my high school, shooting jumpers in the high school compared to having game situational legs under you. 40 games under you. You got your wind and all of that. But all in all, it was cool that people wrote letters for me to get a chance to come, because the league was really. And then you had players like Mark Price who said I shouldn't get a chance to compete, and I was like, really? We let a Russian come in here and shoot. You let Magic play an All-Star game when he had AIDS and he hadn't played the whole season. We brought him back. So come on, man. It's been precedent set. So why shouldn't I get a chance to shoot?
Well, going back to that particular weekend, when you competed in that 3-point contest, it was awesome seeing you compete. Like I said, I was a Craig Hodges fan, Bulls fan, all the stuff. It was awesome seeing you compete, but it didn't feel like that's the way it should have gone down. And what I mean by that is you went from being a high-level role player to the Bulls to basically being phased out of the league well before your time. And I said all that to say this. When you hear things like Craig Hodges was blackballed from the NBA, what is your response to that statement?
Well, to me it's like the realization that, okay, I saw what happened to John Carlos and Tommy Smith in '68 Olympics. I saw what happened to Muhammad Ali. I saw what happened to Kurt Flood. But do you think it's going to happen to you? And that's the whole thing about it, is that the positions that I took was no different than other players that taken before, athletes and entertainers. And the reality is that it can happen. Now, did I think it was going to happen at that period of time? Of course not. I was 32 years of age, 3 consecutive three-point titles at All-Star Weekend, and 2 world championships. Yes, no one else in the history of the game has been in that position and hadn't gotten a job. In fact, nobody's ever been in that position before because nobody's ever done it. So to me, it was just a matter of the realization that, man, when October comes, I'm going to be in somebody's training camp. Now, when I get released on July 2nd or July 1st, I call the Players Association, and the head of the Players Association tells me right then that we need to find you an agent that a team owes a favor so they'll know you're not a bad guy. My question was, what did I do that was bad? Right. I've never been fined. I've never missed a plane. I never missed a bus. All right. I've been the player rep for the 4 teams I played on. I was a player rep as a rookie, which is unheard of. I was player rep on the last team when we won a championship. So what did I do that was bad based upon bad being? What is bad? Now, could it be a matter of me going to the White House and handing the president a letter? Did that play into it? And that's the part that is still somewhat unresolved, but it's some resolution coming to it very soon. But from that standpoint, it was just a matter of being able to see it for what it is, man. Once again, I don't care how much money a LeBron makes, a Kobe made, an MJ made. You are still an employee. We don't own that. So within the realm of that, know it for what it is. You work for the NBA. At any point in time, you can get fired from a job, right? So they can fire you. And they fired me. So if we look at it from those sheer realistic standpoints, you won't get caught up into the emotion of it. Oh, man, they did me this way. They did me. No, man. It's ones like Kevin said. It's going to be times when you're going to be up. You don't know up if you don't know down. You feel me? So them being able to take the rug from under me, and as far as I'm at the highest earning potential in my career, man. My union should have done something about that. Colin Kaepernick's union stood up for him. You feel me? Yeah. Even though it might not have been to the level that he got to, but they stood up for him to be able to say, yo, you can come over here and throw some balls and every team going to be there to look at you. They gave you that opportunity. Whether you took it or not, that's on you. I would have loved for somebody to say, yo, Hodge, be at Memphis State University to hoop, and all 24 teams going to be there. I'd have been like, where we at? Let's go. And I don't care who's there. It wouldn't have been like, oh, I need Kevin there to set a pick for me. I need Horace there. No, just let me come in and run. And that was my thing with college. When they gave you an opportunity, all of these demands that they were saying that you were calling for, whether it be I want this set of receivers or I want that, I'm like, brother,
just go do your thing.
When you came into the league, you didn't have that. When you came to your first combine, you didn't know who you were going to throw to. So why now do we have to have that? And it makes it a struggle for other times, man, when we can go and do this thing and go and do it. Like I said, I would have loved for somebody to say, yo, Hodge, come over here and hoop and let's go. Man, I'd have been ready for it. Now, where the chips fall, the chips fall. But I'm gonna go out here and we're gonna go at it.
Outside of money, you talked about it being a business and NBA players being employees. Outside of the fear of the money aspect and the backlash from that, why do you think more players aren't more into social advocacy and standing up for these type of things? Is it strictly the money, or is it lack of education, or just not caring, or just being disconnected?
Let's go to your second point, man. Everybody ain't studied it. Everybody ain't studied this. Not. You feel me? And to study about Black people isn't profitable. You feel me? So it's not something that somebody gonna go into college. What you gonna do? I'm gonna study Black studies and I'm gonna make $1 million. No. You feel me? And the reality that this is something that you have to love, man. That you have to love. It's a certain level of research. And to me, it's like this. You know, people would ask me when I was going through things, hey man, what you think about this athlete or that? Man, they didn't study what I studied, bro. So I didn't expect Horace, Gotti, and MJ to know the historical perspective that I was based upon. So, but when I find the information, I'm gonna share it with you. I might have to spoon feed it to you, but it's not a matter of me saying, oh, I know everything. No, it's a matter of the historical record has to be preserved and who's willing to do that. I was blessed to be part of that faction and part of that fabric to be able to say, I want to make sure that our history is preserved, man. You feel me? And I want to be a part of that preservation of it. I don't want to be somebody that says, man, later for what Dr. J and them did, later for what Tommy Smith and them did, later for what Paul Robeson did. I'm in a vacuum now. You feel me? And that's where we come in, and that's where we have such a lack of unity, is that we feel as though we came down in a vacuum, that we have no historical past, we have no historical connection to the past. How you standing here on somebody's shoulders, man. You standing here on the oppression of somebody that paid a price for you to earn these large dollars that you earning, that they were never able to capture, because it was an era where we know, like John Carlos told me, he said, Hodge, when I saw you go to the White House, I knew that was one of the seeds that we had planted back in 68. You feel me? So
yes, sir.
The reality of knowing that we're doing something, but we don't know what the actual outcome is going to be 25, 30 years from now. But I got to hold this line now, because if I don't, it's surely not going to be here 25 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wanted to say something to you. I know you were talking to Craig about that, but I was sitting my mind was just racing about what he was just talking about when it comes to today's athletes. Mm-hmm. I was a young person when all this was going on, but this was pre-internet, pre-social media, so pre-platforms where people could actually shape the narrative and talk about what the real narrative is. Where before it was, if you spoke, the national media was able to take the narrative.
They would tell you what the narrative is.
And shape it to what they wanted it to be. So, and that was the thing that he was caught. I felt like, Craig was caught in a time period that he was too far ahead of time to a certain degree about issues that were already people were talking about, but it wasn't mainstream to talk about. Where today athletes have a platform in the mainstream to talk about it, avid through their social media shows, through podcasts, everything. So now it's socially acceptable now to talk about these issues in front of a broader audience. Yeah,
and not to cut you off, that's like Gil Scott-Heron told us, it won't be televised. That was before it was internet, okay? Right. So it ain't being televised on CNN and all of that, but it's being here. It's here, and it's in front of us, man, and that the reality of being able to play a part in that and being able to, want to play a role in it is critical, man. And now it's at that point where we can't say we don't have the money and the resources anymore. We got plenty. Yeah. When you look at one bus tonight going from the hotel to the arena, that one bus has at least 10 times the entirety of the civil rights budget of 1965. You feel me?
Come on, man. Yes, sir.
We was making moves. We was making moves with nothing. Now we got something, and we can't make no moves. It's all a matter of education, and the education, I'm gonna say the miseducation that we've gotten has us thinking that we can be so much like them. And when I say like them, I'm saying that elite group. That elite 1%, those billionaires. I want to be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? That dumb to me. Because when I look at two of our greatest people in the game, MJ and MJ, Magic and Michael, all right? We leave the game and we go into billionaire class mode, all right? We go to billionaire, we go to the game, and that's the competition in us. That's the athlete in us. I want this, so now I leave our game. Now what is it? It's the business game now. The business game is, okay, who's going to be the richest? Who's going to get there to the quickest? What is it? But the reality is, with your billions, how many lives could we effectively change that are least of us? Yeah, and it ain't about black people. It's about people. People who are struggling, that you can make a difference in their life. Do we choose to? And that's the part where they knew for me was this, that I told them, when I get my paper like these cats got their paper, you're going to see a difference in the city of Chicago. Because I don't need 25 million for my family. But I recognize with a $5 million contract, you're going to see a difference. because I can leverage now. I can leverage $1 million here or $1 million there. And I might even be able to talk to some of my brothers to let's get together and leverage some things. And that was the part where I understood once it happened to me, oh, okay. They don't want you to get that bread because you already told them what you was going to do with it.
Yeah.
And that might have been me being a little bit immature in my idealism of what I want to see Chicago to be, that I want to see my people not kill each other at a rate of 900 in 1991. 900 murders in the city of Chicago when we was winning, man. And not one of them millionaire brothers on my squad said a thing. And that hurt me, man. That I'm saying, no, man, we winning here. My city is paying y'all. Y'all making money in my city, but we don't want to stay here after the season and talk to these young brothers and sisters and tell them, hey, we ain't got to shoot each other. We ain't got to do that. We can create some programs now because we are the world champions. But nothing comes out of it. Endorsement deals, but nothing on the programmatic end. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, gentlemen, you guys, thank y'all so much, man. Just two amazing giants.
Now I can give me some of this Memphis barbecue, man.
Hey, for sure, man. Hey, I'm gonna text y'all after the show, man. I can definitely tell y'all some good places to go for some barbecue. For sure.
Oh man, hey, you
remember,
hold on.
My wife.
Oh yeah, my bad.
You just you just rose up in there when you said that.
I already know it because I already know. Yeah, for sure. But gentlemen, I do appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for the things y'all are doing in Chicago and also in Memphis, Mr. Whitted. Mr. Whitted, just tell us a little bit more as we end the interview about what's going down tomorrow with the Healing the Hood Foundation's Celebrity All-Star Game.
Well, we had the camp today. The camp was great, and tomorrow we're going to actually have the game. I think the doors open, and I think at 3 o'clock. That's the tip-off, so make sure you get out there early. There's a lot of festivities going to be going on before in the lobby area where you can come out and see merchandise, things, giveaways. A lot of stuff is going to be selling from a standpoint of, seeing a lot of things that impact our community. We're going to see also a lot of people that are just involved in our community. The mayors will be there. They're playing in the game, obviously, but there'll be a lot of people surrounding, those components that are going to, make the game very good. You'll get a chance to see the players, talk to everyone, take pictures. It's going to be a festive atmosphere, so definitely be there early and hey, come out and enjoy it. And, and it's also at Southwind High School. High School. That's where it's located. So definitely come out, enjoy it. We're looking forward to seeing all you guys. And hey, let's get it going.
Keep up the good work, brother. This, and I'm telling everyone when we on the social media platforms and like this that y'all doing, man, how critical it is to give our people an opportunity to get it from a different source, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man, for sure. Appreciate y'all, man.
It's open source information now, man. So we put it out there and we can catch it from everywhere. Give us more information to deal with and make good decisions, man.
Y'all are really inspiring me, man. Me and my girlfriend, we're starting this nonprofit based around girls in volleyball. So, man, just hearing y'all talk, man, just really inspiring us. Like we're trying to reach out to those who don't have it to put them on the equal footing with some of the other young ladies in the city, man. So y'all really inspire me with this conversation. I thank y'all. Go ahead.
Last thing I want to say was everything starts with a movement. And then momentum comes after that. So the thing is, I feel like what he went through was part of the piece of the movement. Now we're just going to start seeing the momentum in this generation. Because now in this generation here, most of us know more about financial literacy and the power of economics and how it's used and how it's dispersed.
That's right.
So that being said, now that we know how to spread that around to make it move now. And the thing is, it has to move in so many directions now because of how things are set up today. But we have to be educated about financial literacy, and that's really the key. And that'll help us move forward.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. Well, Jim, I definitely appreciate y'all. I'm hoping that third of them could be some manifestation out here, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
For real. I appreciate y'all, Jim, for sure. This is my guy, Kevin Whitted of Kevin Whitted Basketball Services, and NBA legend, Craig Hodges. Sir, we appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for coming on, man. We're about to take a break. I got to give me some water, man. Y'all guys got me feeling the way over here, man. About to take a break. When we come back, it's going to be more to Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
All right.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code BluffCity for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
I want to ask Dr. Buckets about this because a lot of words to say stuff about his ankles. And then you've been reading a lot of stuff, mentioned a tightrope surgery. I wanted to ask Dr. Buckets, ask somebody that actually knows what they're talking about.
What it sounds like Zach Edey's going to have is called a Bromstrom or Brostrom, B-R-O-S-T-O-M, Brostrom procedure, where they're going to take some neighboring soft tissue. They're going to anchor it in where his ATFL ligament, it's a long name for the ligament that you sprain in ankle sprains. And they anchor in this tendon to make you a new ligament. So he's 7 foot forever. He's a big foot. Those surgeries go well. Like you come back and you can play. It's just going to take probably a little bit longer. On an educated guess, I would say I'd look for Zach Edey to play again in December.
Tune into The Daily Grind with your host, Lute Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Man, Kenny, I've been doing this for a while, bro, and it's typically when I come back from a break, I'm ready to go. But
yeah,
I had to go grab me a drink of water for real, man. And oh man, that was humbling, bro. Man, Woo. Just to think about, we all knew the story of Craig Hodges, and as a kid, I don't like he mentioned that Kevin Whitted mentioned that if you think about like back then. He hit the nail on the head, man. The media back then made the narrative be what they wanted to be, and there was no other response to it. And he was painted as being crazy back then. Like nobody actually. Yeah. And I even to this day don't even really remember what he did, what he said, the depths of it. Man, I got to dig in deep to kind of remember, to kind of actually see for the first time, really not remember, because it was told to us the way they wanted to tell us, man. So I want to be able to go back and see what their brother was standing for, man. But like I said, that guy. You're talking about a brother who really sacrificed his career for the betterment of his people, bro.
He sacrificed everything.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That was
awesome.
I was in the background and just going, this is like, not to get super spiritual with it, this felt like holy ground kind of moment.
Oh, yeah,
you
man.
Know what I'm
real,
saying?
Bro. Yeah, like especially like I said, with the things that I'm about to venture into with this volleyball organization, man. Like it really kind of confirmed to me that I'm going down the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, it might be allergy season over here, man. I'm well enough over again. I'm good, man. But two awesome brothers, man. And Kevin Whitted is a brother who's in town doing some amazing things with the young people here, man, through basketball. And I definitely got to get with him, man, and just pick his brain on how to take things I'm trying to do to the next level. Hope you guys enjoyed that, man. Share it. Tell people about it. Let's get that word out. Awesome interview with Kevin Whitted and NBA legend Craig Hodges. With Kenny Stubblefield. It's time for in the church, man. We would have been addicted right there, man. We would have just let this thing go. But we're gonna do the 3-parter, man. We're talking about 3 things that are on a brother's mind. Let me reset, man. Are you ready for this? The Grizzlies, all the Memphis Grizzlies set for a busy summer, Kenny Stubblefield. We had my guy Dodson on the show the other day, and he talked about how he is hearing the Grizzlies' name involved in a lot of things. There's a gentleman out in Phoenix, and I don't have his name in front of me, but he has a report where he was talking about the Kevin Durant trade. Let's play that video and talk about some of the things that he said in this video.
talking about, okay?
I love it. See, that's why he's the best. Give it to me.
You got the Houston Rockets, who have a plethora of young talent and picks, including the Phoenix Suns picks. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are 90 minutes away. This is some information I got at the trade deadline. They were 90 minutes away from acquiring Kevin Durant. You got the New York Knicks, who are poking around. You got the San Antonio Spurs with a plethora of young talent. I'll throw 2 teams that no one is talking about. Okay, the Toronto Raptors and the Memphis Grizzlies. Okay, now I don't know if those are teams that Kevin will directly be traded to.
3-team deal.
3-team deal. I think they are 2 teams to look at in regards to facilitating the deal. And there's a lot of interesting things poking around out in Memphis. So just pay attention to those 2 teams that we talked about in the coming days or weeks.
What about?
Yeah, man, good stuff. And it lines up with so many things that we've been hearing, over the last few days, last few weeks, right? Guys like Dawson, just different reports you're seeing, just the energy you feel about the Grizzlies sometimes. And of course, that after that video came out, you start getting the trade machine speculations, right? You see people with Jaren Jackson Jr. in trades and Phoenix getting Ja and all these type of things. And if you listen to what their brothers are saying, those 2 guys aren't facilitating player deals. Those are mega trade deals if those type of guys
big time
are involved in it, right? So
multiple teams.
And Dawson said this the other day. You're talking about the Desmond Bains of the world, the Brandon Clarks, 2 guys that are, big time players for this Grizzlies team, big pieces of what they want to do in the past and going forward. I think those are the names that you will hear. And I think that just the tea leaves are just out there, man. The Grizzlies names are being connected to everything, connected to a lot of things. Dawson put a story out today involving Portland and Demi Avia, a name that he did drop on the show. Man, I'm just saying buckle up, because I think you will hear the Grizzlies name connected to a lot of moves potentially going on out there for sure. Also, on that Grizzlies having a busy summer, we talked yesterday about Ja Morant switching agencies, not switching, but dropping Mike Miller as his agent, Kenny Stubblefield. And of course, just like when this thing about the trades, people are putting Ja Morant in the trade machine, right? Oh, he's got a new agent. Maybe he wants out of Memphis.
He wants out of Memphis.
It's crazy how when Ja was out here with the guns and all this type of stuff and doing the gun salute this year and all that type of stuff, oh, he just needs to be out of the league, right? Just kick this guy out of the league, all these type of things, right? But when these type of news stories come out, now is everybody wants him on their team, right? Now he's a guy that people want to be on their team. Let me say this, Kenny.
Yeah. Tread lightly.
I will get into my detective bag, right?
Right.
My good friend Jason Smith, mentor of mine, Jason Smith, put out a tweet saying that he noticed some weird things as far as Mike Miller and Ja about a month ago. How Mike did not list Ja as one of his clients with his agency, and then I said things were kind of weird on the website where Ja was placed, on things, all those type of things.
Right.
I'm gonna take y'all back in some chronological things, right?
Yep.
Ja Morant had got off Twitter for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He came back on Twitter around March the 11th. What do you think some of his main tweets were? He put out a nice little run of tweets, and what do you think those tweets were about, Kenneth?
Well, March Madness, Murray State, possibly.
Yes, it was Murray State, but the specifics of that Kenneth Stubblefield is not only was he tweeting about Murray State, but he was tweeting about the head coaching job at Murray State.
Yep.
And Ja was basically advocating for a gentleman by the name of Coach Kane.
Yep.
And Coach Kane's first name is, I'm screwing up. Coach Kane's first name is, hold on, my brother.
Let me see. Jimmy?
James Kane.
Yep.
Do you know who James Kane is, Kenny Sofield?
I do know who he is, but why don't you educate?
James Kane, for those of you who don't know, is the gentleman that literally discovered Ja Morant at a AAU tournament on the side court, thought he could be a good player, got him to Murray State, and the rest is history. Ja Morant he openly speaks well about this man often, pretty much owes a lot of gratitude to him for discovering him. And y'all know Ja is all about loyalty. Ja retweeted some tweets. He replied to some tweets, pretty much advocating for James Kane to be the next head coach of Murray State, who had an opening at the time. 2 days later, Kenny Stubblefield, James Kane was not hired as the head coach of the Murray State. Is it Blazers? What are they?
Racers.
I don't know. Racers. There you go. Yeah. I love their colors and their logo too.
Yeah.
Anyway, James Cain was not hired as the head coach of the Murray State Racers, Kenny Stubblefield. Instead, Ryan Miller was hired as the head coach.
Wait a second.
Yes, that is Ryan Miller, who is former John Morant agent's brother. Ryan Miller was hired as the Murray State head coach.
Interesting.
2 weeks after that, Kenny Stubblefield, do you know what happened? Or about a month after that, do you know what happened? Ernie Kuiper, who is also Reggie Miller's cousin,
Mike Miller
was hired as. I'm sorry, not Reggie Miller. I'm still thinking about the tucked in hoodie and the jersey.
Yeah, bro, that was bad.
Ernie Kuiper was hired as the general manager of Murray State basketball. He's also Mike Miller's cousin. So my speculation, just going into this isn't fact, this isn't proven, this isn't out there. Me getting in my conspiracy bag, and just knowing how stuff works, man, knowing how shit works sometimes. I'm assuming that Ja probably felt the way. He probably felt double-crossed by Mike that, hey, man, you know that's my guy. How you going to push for your brother to get the gig and your cousin to get the GM gig, and now the rest is history. That may not even been the case. Mike Miller may not have had anything to do with his brother and his cousin getting that gig. But I would not be surprised, human nature, if Ja felt the way about me coming out saying, I want my guy to get that gig. He's already an assistant coach at that team. He's been around forever. Why shouldn't he get the gig? Then I look up and my agent's brother and my agent's cousin get two positions of power, the head coach and the GM job.
What's interesting about that is that Ryan Miller has been an assistant coach for a very long time at different places. And he went for a head coaching position and he almost got it because he promised that one of his brothers was going to become an assistant coach for his team, would be on his staff and be his recruiting coordinator. And this is before that specific brother decided to go and start a lift management organization.
I remember that.
So yeah,
I remember that.
I would suspect that. I think what you're saying sounds super simple, but sometimes, as Chris said, sometimes simple, sometimes it's that simple, sometimes that's just the truth, man.
Yeah. And this is No Bluffing Podcast says it's a bunch of Mike connections on their staff, maybe 3 to 4.
Yep.
So I can see Ja feeling away, man. Like everything ain't got to be, oh man, I got the Grizzlies can extend me this summer. I need to go get a new agent, or hey, I don't like how the season ended. Go get me to a big market. Like it ain't got to be that. Sometimes it can be Mike Miller was on some. I ain't like that shit, bro. I didn't like
the way you went behind, but went around my situation and did that.
Yeah. And it could be something as simple as that. Let's move on. Number 2. Don't want to go funny. We going funny. We going actual news. That's what we're doing.
Let's do funny.
Let's go ahead and do funny, man. Demarcus Cousins.
Woo!
Had a little break. I saw this clip of him like getting into it with somebody. People throwing drinks at him. It was from a weird angle, right? So I saw the other angle. I was like, man, what in the world? Like, what fired it? What led to that? Like, what got that man so fired up? Let's play the video first, kid, of him having the meltdown first. No, not that one. Go out. It's too late. We hear that.
Hold on. Let's go back. Go play the other video first. We ain't playing it now. Let's play here. In the video you saw,
Demarcus Cousins, ahí lo ve, dejándose sentir ante el público y eso no va a quedar bien. Ahí esto se acaba. Esto pasó a mayores, desafortunadamente. Ahí ven la seguridad de Cousins tratando también la medida que se va a.
All right, so in that video, Demarcus Cousins was going off. Security had to hold him back. Fans throwing drinks. And I'm like, man, what did he do? Like, what happened? And then the other video you showed the first time showed exactly what's happened. Let's play that one more time for the people who didn't catch what happened. This is Demarcus Cousins. This is Demarcus Cousins scratching his balls. and then at this point, ushering the substance of his ball scratch to a fan at courtside. Let's play that one more time. Let's show them. It's the creativity of it all, man. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do to just really get on this, really grind this guy's gears.
Wow.
He just scratch my balls and just place in this dude's face to show about what I think about him. Chris says 100 boogies versus a gorilla. Who y'all got? I don't know, because Boogie like he got hands, bro, for real.
Boogie's wild.
Give me a 99 boogies and 1 Zebo, bro. We can roll for sure. The man was super wild for that. But we're gonna move on about that, man. Just wild news, wild story with Demarcus Cousins. Number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo appears to be staying in Milwaukee for now. There was so much hype about this meeting. They're gonna have a meeting in the middle of next week. You remember that?
Yeah.
From Sam's, right? That week came and went, and you didn't hear anything about it. Why? Because it was nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah, and it appears that he's gonna come back, see what they can put together this year, play the season out, and then from there we'll see. But the crazy thing about this is that Stephen A. Smith went on somebody today. I would show the clip. I don't feel like dealing with Stephen A. Smith at all, but basically said that Giannis's reputation is going to be a loser if he only gets that one championship in Milwaukee. How is he a loser? And he won an NBA championship, bro.
Stephen A.
Like,
Smith,
man, these dudes are these. And I said this, bro. I said this on the show last week. These guys create these narratives for these dudes, and they're trying to put thoughts. They're putting words in their mouth and thoughts into their head, and they're trying to speak for them. And then when the guys do what they want to do, instead of these things, these illusions of grandeur that these media guys have, now he's a loser. They're like, no, man, he's doing what he wants to do. He's if he never leaves Milwaukee, he's going to be treated like a god there, man. He won an NBA championship in a small market town, and he's gonna go down with the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and the Oscar Robertsons in that town, bro. Like,
come on, man.
He's a legend. Like, and it's just crazy that these guys push for that type of stuff, especially when we're watching the NBA Finals where you're watching the NBA Finals where 2 small markets are going at it. So, yeah, salute to Giannis, and that's what you're doing. And if you're about to get about that joint, I'm down for that too. Well, Kenny, I did have a Inside the Same Brand want to do today, but with that interview that we had earlier, it's a wrap, man. It is all good. We're going to cut it off there. Make sure you guys support my guy, Richie Jarvis and Trilogy Tattoos. I guarantee you,
the best,
if you go get it. I guarantee you go get a tattoo from Trilogy Tattoos. No one is going to scratch their balls before doing tattoo work on you. I guarantee you that. I can confirm that story. That is true. Right. They won't do that. Tattoo. Maybe if you get a face tattoo and somebody just got to digging in their balls before tatting up your face, man. So make sure you go visit them. One Memphis location, the only Memphis location on Highland. Y'all know where it is. 27 years in the business, in the Highland Strip. Go check them out, man. My guy Richie Jarvis and Trilogy Tattoos. Well, Kenny's been a great show, great interview with Craig Hodges and my guy Kevin Whitted today. Amazing stuff, man. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend as well. We'll see you guys next week, man. And we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.